Good afternoon. It is Thursday, October 28th. So everything's a mess. But at least from what I've been able to tell looking around, no signs of any mouse activity, so I am thinking that that mouse that got rid of yesterday was the only one. But I cannot yet clean stuff up. I still don't have drawer liners. Mom said she ordered them. I should have them tomorrow, I think. So there's that. But also I can't do that because I got stuff to do today. Today is already the rescheduled movie day because dealing with that mouse kept me from having movie day on Tuesday. Stupid little thing. So today is movie day, and it is October. It's nearly the end of October. Today I'm gonna watch a spooky movie. I'm gonna watch an actual spooky movie. I don't have a whole lot of them. You may have noticed, I'm not the biggest fan of spooky movies. Just looking at the movies I've chosen to watch, etc. I'm not a huge fan of this being spooked out. I don't like it. So this movie, Ghost Ship, I saw in theaters. I think it was like my 13th birthday. That was what I wanted to do for my birthday. It's not like I used to watch spooky movies. That's never been a me thing to do. But I remember the trailer was good. See, the trailer showed Emily Browning. And 12-year-old, about to go on 13-year-old Adam, thought, man, she's cute. And there's there's some fantasy stuff, which is all this visions, you know, like, oh, are we back in the heyday of the boat? And there's lots of water, and water lighting, reflections of water, which I find beautiful. I love that, where you get sort of that shimmering look. There's lots of scenes in the trailer and in the movie that have that, and it looks wonderful. And so I was like, let's go watch a spooky movie. So that's what I did on my 13th birthday. And it's not by any means one of my favorites. It does a few things. I recall it has one of the best openings to any movie. As far as a real hook to get your attention, oh man, this film gets your attention, and how. Beautifully, wonderfully. It has a scene that I know whenever I watch this movie, it might be a while before I'm able to eat rice again. It's actually one of the things that I remember about this movie because I know there's a scene in it, and when I watch it, it's going to be a while before I can get my head clear to the scene and eat rice. And I like to eat rice, but so probably won't be having that for a bit. Although it's been years since I've seen it. Maybe it won't affect me so bad anymore. Maybe it'll be worse. Who knows? Also, something that I didn't know at that point, but I know now, is it has one of the actors that, one of the guys from Lord of the Rings. But yeah, so it's been a while since I have seen Ghost Ship. But here for the final movie that I'm watching here in October, spooky month, just before Halloween, I'm gonna watch a spooky movie. I'm gonna watch Ghost Ship. And Ghost Ship is a very good horror film. I usually leave the menu on in the background. It's kind of creepy in this situation, so Ghost Ship is a good horror film. I would give it 6.8 out of 10. Because it's a horror film. Because it's going to disturb me, because I don't like that feeling. That's not a feeling I like. It's still not a terrible rating. But it definitely had a lot taken off because it's creepy. So I guess to point out, if you like creepy, if you like horror film, and you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. Really good one. From someone that doesn't like horror and accepts this is truly horror. You know, I've thus far this month, my spooky movies have been Ghostbusters. Those aren't spooky movies. They have little moments of it and then lots of laughter and fun to break it up. This truly is a horror film. It leaves my skin tingling. Now, before I get further, I'll read the back. Finders keepers. Any abandoned ship floating in international waters can be claimed and towed to port by whoever is fortunate enough to find it. Or in the case of one team of salvage experts, unfortunate enough. Ghost Ship is a stylish, effects-packed chiller from House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts producer Joel Silver, Robert Zemeckis, and Gilbert Adler. Salvagers trained for any situation imaginable come face to horrifying face with the unimaginable after boarding a derelict luxury liner. Juliana Margulies, Gabriel Byrne, Rod Eldred, and Isaiah Washington, why are you packing all these names in here? Blah, are among the hands on deck who will confront a seafaring collector of souls. Ooh, giving a lot away there. Steve Beck of 13 Ghosts directs this terror tour de force. Bon voyage, Fright fans. I'm not a Fright fan. Okay, so why do I, someone that doesn't like horror, doesn't like feeling scared, why do I like this? It is clever. It is beautiful. It is beautiful in a horrifying way. I like Beauty and Decay. I like, art of like abandoned structures that have been left to be reclaimed, and that is something that I find interesting. So, the movie, as I said before, still claims one of the most sort of the best hooks, the most just the opening that gets you and grabs you and like, okay, what's going on here? So you may tell from the way Ghost Ship is written as it comes up in the credits, it's not the spooky font from the box. It's all bright and bubbly. Because we begin on a luxury ocean liner. It's beautiful. Wonderful. Singer. A dance floor. Trying to just set this atmosphere of luxury and wealth. And you get a couple clips. Something weird's going on. And this essentially saw blade, long cabled saw blade cable, whips across the dance floor, cutting everyone in half except for the small girl, Emily Browning, who is just short enough not to get taken with it, leaving her in the middle as all these wealthy dancers are trying to hold themselves together as they fall apart, comically, almost. But it's comic gore, as they're like grabbing onto, trying to hold their midsection together that they just got cut in half. And then we just have her screaming there in the middle of this dance floor full of chopped in half people. That is what we get. And then we go into our modern day stuff. Setting the scene for something terrible happened on this boat. And then you get your crew. And you kind of get to know crew. They're not developed wonderfully. One of the guys has a fiance, and you know that because he's got a fiance. And she's future Mrs. whatever his last name is, because I don't think they bothered to name her, because that's development too much. There's this thing, but they have some of the characteristics, and defining people by, at least some of the people, by just overarching characteristics is common, I think, in horror films. You don't have to fully develop all the characters. We want to develop enough for you to get a little attachment before we throw them down an elevator shaft, or blow them up in an engine room, or send them through a turbine, or whatever we choose to do. So, they have this guy come approach them. Hey, I saw this ship. It's adrift. You could salvage it. I want to cut. I want to come along. Little back and forth agreement. So this guy's coming along. And they start going through this ship. And the first signs of something weird is seeing this little ghost. And it's lead female that sees this little girl, this ghost, Emily Browning. Just glimpses, things progress. Eventually, she's how we get the story of what happened. But she eventually opens up and is able to communicate. But things just start going wrong. And there's some deep bits of some bits of story that are clever and explain things. Ultimately, you figure out, okay, there's been other people that have tried to salvage this, like, within the last month, and their corpses are still here. And at that point, they find that there's gold on the ship. Let's abandon the ship, take the gold, and leave. But then something happens, and their tugboat is destroyed by this evil force that is trying to kill them and trap them here. Eventually, things progress, and I'm, of course, spoiling the movie here, as I always do. So again, if you like horror, maybe don't watch further. Go watch the movie if you haven't seen it. Because it's not one of the big... it didn't turn into a series. So I'm sure people that like horror may have missed it. And you have this set that is this rusted out hull of a boat. And it's beautiful. And story that unfolds bit by bit. You start getting foreshadowing and things seem off and you get uneasy. And it builds and builds. Lots of stuff. Lots of kills off screen to just make the tension, with a few that are right there to show the gore. It's a good movie. Anyways, progressing forward. We figure out eventually that the issue is that this gold that's on this ship, this gold that they want to, they're gonna take the gold and leave, but the evil force won't let them. Well, this evil force is one and the same, the gentleman that came to them with the find. He's a demon, for lack of a better word. Just working for management to bring a ship full of people to hell. And he needed this salvage team to come fix his ship so it didn't sink before he could bring it in. That's the main plot. But you find that this same man is the one that brought the gold onto a ship from another. Got people together and decided to just kill everyone on the ship. Ripping people apart on the dance floor, shooting people in the pool, poisoning people from the kitchen. Thus, there's issues with the food in the kitchen, and at one point they're eating food, and as they eat into the rice, it's maggots. I think I'll be fine. I knew to look away at that scene. And I did. I just kind of held up my eyes and like looked around the corner. I'm like, oh, yep, they're in that. Don't stare at it because it doesn't sit well with me. And then step by step, those people that he allied with to let's kill them all and keep the gold for ourselves. Back in the 60s when the ship went missing, killed each other step by step. They started betraying each other till only he is left. And he hasn't aged a day. And now he's still going out and getting people to come to the ship, that he may kill them and add to his souls, fill his quota, make management happy. Hellish management. Which is, on one level, a basic story, but it's told in interesting ways. And it does the thing at the end, whereas there's one survivor. She figures out what's going on with help from the little girl, the ghost, who isn't marked because she was not wicked, so she's hard for him to control as a ghost. So she does things, and she tells things that he wouldn't want her to. But she's still trapped there. So this our lead female eventually blows a hole back in this. They fix the ship. He's happy. He's got his ship fixed, and she blows a hole in the side of it to end things. And she gets rescued adrift at sea. And at the end, she's getting in the ambulance, and you see these crates that we know look exactly like the crates of gold that were on the ship are being loaded on, bit by bit. And there he goes, walking back onto a new cruise ship as she's being closed into the ambulance. No! Setting up for a sequel, which we never got. But that's the horror movie thing to do, right? You set it up where you can have another one. It could have been a series. It wasn't. For better or worse. To some extent, the fact that it's not just overdone and worn out probably is part of what makes it as good as it is. A lot of movies, they just keep reiterating long enough that even the originals aren't as good as they were because of so much that's come after them. But I am someone that loves sequels, so I suppose also better because now there's not an immediate sequel that I have to watch another horror movie because I don't want to. Because it's spooky. It makes me feel unnerved. It's creepy. I don't like it. Really don't. It's a good movie. I don't like the feeling it leaves me with. That's why it gets a low rating. Semi-low rating. It's still got a lot higher rating than... Because it's creepy. I don't like it. But it's good. It's good, and I have to admit that, despite not liking how it leaves me feeling. And I hope that I sleep fine tonight. I'm barely getting over like the nerves of, oh no, is there a creature living in my home? The mouse. And having trouble sleeping from that. And now I go and watch this. Oh well. But a wonderful Halloween time movie. Maybe I'll watch another one of the creepy ones next year. I don't like it. Okay. But still, it is a movie that holds a place in my heart. Was it my first horror movie? It might have been. It's definitely the first one that I went to thinking, I want to see this. And then I bought it, thinking, I want to own this. It's also got the cover that does that thing. That's interesting. It says C-S-E-A, evil, in the bottom when it's the skull boat. That's cool. I have trouble ending the vlog because of the feeling of being creeped out that I have from watching that movie. I guess that's probably got to be the highest rating. Despite what number I give it, it leaves me feeling unnerved. And I think that's something that people that like horror movies like for some reason. I don't know. If you're that kind of person, let me know if that's the case. Because that seems really weird to me. Like, why would you want to be unnerved? That sounds terrible. I hate it. Bad feeling. But I'm going to try and go on YouTube and watch some funny stuff for a bit. And hopefully I can feel better to go to sleep in the next, hour. Thank you for joining me. Joining me as my journey continues.